Jack Dunlavy, tell us about the Japanese surrender in Tokyo Bay in 1945, if you would.
All right. I remember that morning we went to muster, and our officer told us, well, find me someplace, but try not to disturb the ceremony. And so I ran to the bridge. That was my where I did most of my work as a quartermaster, assisting the officer of the deck, the captain, the navigators, and one person was up there, was a chaplain. He was sitting in the captain's chair, and I remember putting my elbow on the chair talking to him. And so this was on the 4th level, the main bridge. The surrender was to take place down on the 1st level. So I'm looking at the surrender about 50 feet away. And of course, during the time, the bridge filled up with people, and I didn't know until years later that I'm the only white hat. All these others, there was either chief or line officers on the bridge. See? And of course, I was on there when Lee Ferguson, who was main star high chaparral, later on, he was the chief photographer's mate on the Missouri, on Admiral Hall's staff. Later on, after I joined the Missouri Association, I found out that his camera was much better than the cameraman on the Missouri, so he let him borrow his camera to take that 23 minutes. Of course, being a quartermaster, we learned to do many things, and one of them, we had to study the weather. We had to, when you had an admiral aboard, you had to give him the weather report as well as the captain. So I went to his quarters that morning. I had the 4-8 watch. And his Marine orderly was gone somewhere, so I knocked on the door. I remember exactly, how it went down. I said, Admiral Halsey, Jack Dunlavy, quartermaster of the watch, with the weather report. He said, well, step in, quartermaster. I stepped in, and I gave him the wind velocity, the weather conditions, and cloud cover, and all the things that we had a weather report at that time, and he thanked me and left. But I saw him many times on that ship. He came on in May of 45. The surrender was September 2nd, 1945, and I've seen later that he retired in November.
It said that not everybody got to go on deck. Is that true during the surrender?
Well, as much as possible. See, the complement was around 2,700. We had Admiral Hall's staff consisted of about 200, so we had about 2,900 to 3,000. There wasn't everybody. They set up in the mess hall, and other people were told to report their.
Did you know where you were headed? The purpose of your trip to Tokyo Bay beforehand?
Yes, they told us. We were there several days ahead of time.
But how long? Let me ask you this: were there, besides Americans, were there other members of the Allied forces there in Tokyo Bay?
Yes. I think there was. I think 10 nations, I believe, had representatives there. But you had 93 admirals and generals there.
Oh wow!
And one morning, a destroyer came along early that morning, and all the officers that came on this ship were high-ranking officers. Had what they call the scrambled eggs on their camp, that gold braid,
How would you describe the Japanese?
Real solemn looking, they were sad looking. Of course, it was a disappointment to them, I'm sure. But there was about 11 of those people. And since I'm here in Mobile, I'm acquainted with the brother of the man who was on the destroyer that brought those 11 Japanese over there to our ship.
How long did you serve on the Missouri?
20 months out of 28 months. So I was on the bridge for that 28 months. And I remember as I was just recently telling someone, I had a little book telling what I could do in civilian life. And at 20 years of age, they said I was qualified to be a tugboat captain.
When did you first get in the Navy?
With September of 1943, after I just graduated from Murphy about 3 months earlier.
Were you born here in Mobile?
No, I was born in a little sawmill town up 63. My daddy was a millwright there.
Okay.
He was out of prison. I came to Mobile in 1940.
How old were you when you volunteered?
I was 18.
And you served also in Korea, is that correct?
Right, yeah. I served on a tugboat out of New Orleans. But I'd asked, they gave us three choices, and you have to ask for shore duty, ship service the first two, and you could ask for shore duty the third choice. So the Wisconsin was going into service in Norfolk, so I asked for a battleship in the Atlantic. The Missouri was the only one of those battleships that was of that four was in Korea, but I asked for a battleship in the Pacific. Then I asked for shore duty in New Orleans, and I wound up on a tugboat out of New Orleans.
How would you describe the mood on the ship at the time of the surrender?
Oh, it was real exciting, you know. And of course, like I said, I was 20 years old, and the main thing that we knew we were going home soon. I think that was the most important thing to us. And of course, the war was over. That was the first thing that was most important. But the fact that we were going home soon is what was attractive to most of us because we were young.
When did you arrive back in Mobile? You said it was in September of 45, the surrender. When did you get back to Mobile?
Well, the 27th of December. I went to New Orleans on the 25th for discharge. I got discharged on the 26th. And it was so hot down there, and I'd left snow up north, so I took the flu. I was so sick, the day I got discharged, I checked into the hotel and stayed overnight before I came on to Mobile.
So you're here today at the pollock-altmayer house for Veterans Day. What are your thoughts about today's event?
Well, it's exciting. It's exciting.
And tell us about your beautiful bride that you brought with you today. What's her name?
Edwina Williams.
And how long have you and Miss Edwina been married?
It'd be 67 years in December.
When in December is your anniversary?
26th, day after Christmas.
Okay, and how did y'all meet?
I was supervisor at a wholesale warehouse out on Royal Street, and she was working in a retail store. They were doing some remodeling. They sent her down there to work with me, to work for me. And I remember we had, back in those days, those big buildings had restrooms about 20 by 20. The door was open. She was sitting there, wanted to comb her. She asked me to borrow my comb, but she told me later she didn't want to borrow my comb. She just really wanted to talk to me. And so we made a date. She worked for me 3 days. We made a date there, and then started that Saturday night date.
And how many children did y'all have?
We had
two.
two.
And how many grandchildren now?
We have 3.
And do you have any great-grandchildren?
3.
Okay. And for those who don't know that are watching, you spent a career in the U.S. Postal Service, is that correct?
Right. I retired in 1980.
And you were here in the Mobile office?
Right,
okay.
Yeah.
And what was your title?
I was superintendent of postal services.
For how long?
I don't know. From
a while?
69, 11 years.
Okay.
And it seems like that I had every job that somebody else didn't want. Because I worked for United Fund. I was in customer service, but I worked for United Fund for 15 years. And that belonged to personnel. Other jobs I had when I left, it started going back to the other divisions it belonged in.
Well, I know that I just wanted to thank you for sharing your story with us. We need more of these stories because we were talking earlier. A lot of people don't share these stories and they just don't get told. So thank you for your service and thank you for being a member of our Federalist Society. Thank you for all you do and have done and all the sacrifices you've made to be here and to preserve liberty for everyone.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate your friendship over the last 4 years.
Thank you, Jack. I look forward to a lot more years. Thank you.
Okay.